Well, today is one of the biggest days of the year for Northwestern basketball as they take on Indiana. Let's talk about it.
You are Locked On Northwestern, your daily podcast on the Northwestern Wildcats, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, everybody, and welcome in. This is Locked On Northwestern, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thank you for making Locked On Northwestern your first listen every day. We really appreciate it. We're available wherever you get podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you can find us. We are also on YouTube. Just search Locked On Northwestern. You can find us there. Wherever you're listening, make sure you're subscribed and you turn on notifications. You don't want to miss an episode. I'm your host, Carter Bird, and let's jump into this because what a day today is. But first, we got to give a shout out to our friends at FanDuel. This episode is brought to you by the FanDuel Sportsbook, the official sportsbook of Locked On. Make every moment more. Visit FanDuel.com/lockedon today to get started. All right. Today's a huge one. Today is a massive one. You have Northwestern hosting number 14 Indiana in Welsh Ryan Arena. Both teams coming in 18-7. And I think when you talk about this game, you have to acknowledge last time out. You have to acknowledge that Northwestern earlier this year, coming off a win against Illinois, which Illinois will gripe about the free throws, which maybe it was a little lopsided in Northwestern's favor as they shot, 40-something free throws in that game? Well, the next game, Northwestern goes on the road to Indiana, and they go to Bloomington, they go to Assembly Hall, and they pull out an 84-83 victory that honestly to this until Sunday was the most impressive win Northwestern had all year long. It's more impressive than the Michigan State win, more impressive than the Illinois win, more impressive than Ohio State. I mean, it was the marquee win for this Northwestern team. Maybe the only thing that could have kind of been comparable is that Auburn win. And that's only because of what Auburn did last night against Missouri, jumping themselves back up into the top 20 of KenPom. But that Indiana win was so massive. And when you look at that game, it's really a battle. It's 2-on-5, really, when you look at it. Because for Indiana, you had Trace Jackson Davis, who's one of the best players in college basketball. Probably the second best player in the Big Ten. He was unbelievable. 18 points, 24 rebounds, 8 assists. He almost had a triple-double in the game in a loss. 4 blocks. 8 of 19, honestly, not as efficient as you would have thought. 2 of 3 at the line. He did have 3 turnovers. Jalen Hood-Schifino, 33 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, 6 turnovers. 12-17 from the field, 5 of 7 from 3, 4 of 6 at the free throw line. No one else on the team scored in double figures. In fact, I think when you look at the entire game, they had a guy score 8, and a guy score 9, and they had another guy score 8. The rest of the team, besides those guys, 7 points. So you get 32 points out of everybody else. But it was the Jalen Hood-Schifino and Trace Jackson Davis show. And Trace Jackson Davis, by the way, he had 7 offensive boards in that game as he had an unbelievable performance. I think he had a really well-rounded, dominant first half where he had 10 points, 13 boards, 7 assists. So he almost went for a triple-double in the first half. That's unbelievable. But on Northwestern's side, you get a little more well-rounded. You get Boo Buie, 26 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 turnovers, 1 steal, 10 of 18, pretty efficient. 1 of 4 from 3, not great. You'd like to see that be a little more efficient. 5 of 6 from the free throw line. Chase Audee's 19 points, 1 rebound, 8 assists. 8 assists for Chase Audee as not your primary point guard. Pretty impressive. 2 turnovers, 6 steals in the first matchup. 6 of them. That's unbelievable. 5 of 14 from the field, 1 of 3 from 3, 8 of 10 at the free throw line. So he got to the free throw line. He wasn't having a great night efficiency-wise shooting the basketball, but he got to the free throw line, and that turns out to be the difference in a game like that. Next, you have Ty Berry, 13 points, 11 rebounds for Ty Berry, double-double. How about that? 2 assists, 5 fouls. He fouled out in that second half. I think all 5 fouls actually came in the second half, too. 1 turnover, 2 steals, 4 of 9 from the field, 2 of 5 from 3, and 3 of 4 from the free throw line. Robbie Barron, 13 points, 5 boards, 2 assists, 1 turnover, 3 blocks, 1 steal. 4 of 7 from the field, 0 for 2, or no, sorry, apologies. I got my stat lines mixed up there. 13 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 turnover, 3 blocks, 1 steal. He, for the game, he was 4 of 9 from the field, 2 of 4 from 3, 3 of 4 at the free throw line. Matt Nicholson, 8 points, 5 boards, 1 assist, 2 blocks, 2 steals, 4 of 7 from the field, 0 of 2 at the line. The issue for Northwestern in this game, well, you get great production out of your front line, out of your top 5. But your issue is the bench. Only 3 guys play off the bench in this game. And combined, they give you 5 points. They give you some rebounds. They give you 7 boards. No assists and just 1 turnover. But like the entire load of this game, for the most part, 79 of the 84 points was by your front line, was by your starters. And maybe that has to change a little bit in this second round, in this second time around. But this is going to be a fun game. It was a 1-point game. Maybe the score was a little bit closer than it was in reality. But, I think it could be a really fun one here tonight. A lot of fun. We're going to talk more about last time out and this upcoming game here in a second. But first, let's talk about our friends from FanDuel. The midway point of the NBA season is here, and now is the perfect time to download FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, because new customers get a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. That's bonus bets back if your first bet doesn't win. Just download the FanDuel Sportsbook app. It's safe, secure, and easy to use. Then you can bet on everything from money line to point scores to threes drained. And look, it's a lot of fun as basketball becomes the priority, it feels like, for the sports world as we move towards March Madness, as we look at what all's going on in the NBA as they approach the All-Star weekend here in a few days. I mean, it's just a great time to get involved with FanDuel. Plus, FanDuel even lets you combine your bets for a chance at a bigger payout with a same-game parlay. So don't miss the chance to get a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000 in bonus bets when you go to FanDuel.com/lockedon. That's FanDuel.com/lockedon to learn more. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. Also, we want to thank you for making Locked On Northwestern your first listen every day. Make sure you check out our brand new podcast, Locked On College Basketball. Everything you need to know about college basketball in one place. Plus, hear from big-name experts, insiders, coaches, and players. Locked On College Basketball, available on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts. All right, let's jump back into this because you know, a big key last time was the way that Northwestern started. Because keep in mind, a week before against Ohio State, that was the nightmare start for Northwestern, where they got down 34-8. They started 2 of 24 from the field. Well, against Indiana, they make the first basket. Indiana gets up a little bit in the first couple minutes, but it was a Robbie Barron. I think it was actually, yes, it was Robbie Barron 3 with 17:31 left in the first half. They gave Northwestern a lead that there would be a little back and forth where you'd see Indiana hit some shots and trading twos. But that was the last time Indiana led in this game. Then you have the Ty Berry three-pointer with 15:38 left in the first half. And that gave Northwestern a lead that they would not surrender again. And it was a dominant first half. It really was. Despite what Trace Jackson Davis was doing, despite what Jalen Hood-Schifino was doing, you had Northwestern build a 17-point lead in the first half of this game. They're up 34-17 at one point. Northwestern did just enough the rest of the game to stay in front. It was kind of like if you the tortoise and the hare, that old story. If the hare got out to a huge lead and then just kept doing enough to stay a little bit in front, keep the tortoise at arm's length, and Indiana starts trying to chew up ground and come back and come back and come back. But yet, Northwestern, it's a big mountain to climb. We've seen it with Northwestern this year. When you dig yourself a 17, 18-point deficit or 26-point deficit, as we've seen at certain points, you eliminate all margin for error. And Northwestern all of a sudden had some margin for error, and Indiana didn't. And Northwestern was able to do enough. They were able to stay ahead. They were able to overcome Jalen Hood-Schifino's 21 points in the second half. They were able, because part of that's because you get 29 points out of Boo Buie and Chase Audige in the second half. Nobody else had more than 5 for Northwestern. You're able to overcome Indiana shooting 56.3% in the second half, going 5 of 10 from 3, because you got to the line 26 times. You only shot 69.2% at the line. You only shot 67.9% from the game. But getting to the line that often, getting those opportunities to add a point here, add a couple points there, it allowed Northwestern to get out, to stay in front. Then, of course, we saw Indiana as it progressed. They hit at the very end of the game, they hit the half-court buzzer beater to cut it to 1. It's a 4-point game with 1 second left, and you see a half-court prayer by Galloway. He hits it. It's a 1-point game. But that game, after Northwestern took that lead in the first half, about 15:38 left, the only time it got to a one-possession game was with 3 seconds left when Jalen Hood-Schifino hits a 3. But then they have to foul. Boo Buie goes to the line. He hits 1. He doesn't hit both. Would have been, I guess it didn't matter. I guess you only had to hit 1 at that point in time. He hits 1 with 1 second left, and then, of course, you see Indiana hit the half-court shot to lose the game by 1. But this is a message about how this first game went. That Northwestern, this is a message about Northwestern in general, because when they start fast, when they don't dig a hole, they're really hard to beat, because they've shown that they can get to the free throw line when they want to. They've shown that in certain spurts they can get hot from 3. The first half, I think they did just that. I think they went 6 of 12 from 3 in the first half, 1 of 7 the second half as they cooled off. But if they're able to do that and kind of stun Indiana, and Indiana's going to come into a hostile environment in Welsh Ryan, this has a chance to be a really good game for Northwestern and a great opportunity to sweep the season series. And I think that is what a lot of people are going to be looking at in this matchup. Can Northwestern seal this season series? Because it'd be a heck of an effort if they did. We're going to talk more about this matchup, more about these guys here in just 1 second. But first, we want to thank you for making Locked On Northwestern your first listen today. For your second listen, check out our brand new podcast, Locked On College Basketball. Experts Isaac Shade and Andy Patton bring you everything you need to know on and off the court. Plus, hear from big-name experts, coaches, and players throughout the basketball landscape. Locked On College Basketball, available on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts. When you look at this game tonight, you've got two teams that have a lot of momentum, that are playing well. Northwestern has the road wins at at Wisconsin and at Ohio State. The home win against Purdue. Indiana, I believe, has won 4 in a row, or 3 straight, rather. They beat number 1 Purdue, number 24 Rutgers, and they went to Michigan and beat them. They're led by Trace Jackson Davis, who's averaging a double-double, scoring 20.2 points per game, 11.3 rebounds. Jalen Hood-Schifino, scoring 12.6 points per game, 4.2 assists. And, of course, you have Boo Buie for Northwestern, who's playing so well this season. He's coming off being named Big Ten Player of the Week and March Madness Player of the Week, where he averaged 22.5 points this past week, 4 assists, 2 steals, and 1.5 block shots. Second time of his career that he has gotten those honors. He's 22nd in the country in free throw percentage, knocking down 88% of his free throws. You've got Chase Audige, who we know what he's been as well. He's still first in the Big Ten in steals per game, 2.5. He got 6 last time out against this Indiana team. This Northwestern team gets 8 steals a game, which is second in the Big Ten. This Northwestern defense is third in the Big Ten in defense, allowing just 61.9 points, 20th in the country. 17th in opposing field goal percentage on 2-point field goals, 45%. They've held 12 opponents, including 2 of the last 3 to 60 or fewer, which is the most since they've done it and since they did that in the 13-14 season. Northwestern's looking for a season sweep here against Indiana and their 3rd straight win over Indiana. You got I guess in Chris Collins' career, he's 7-8 against Indiana. 4-2 against Indiana and Evanston. They're 5-5 in their last 10 over the course of the series history. 120-55. Indiana has a massive lead in this rivalry. These are two teams that are trending in a great direction. Northwestern's up to 47 in the Ken Palm. Indiana all the way up at 19. And that's why, actually, what's very interesting when you look at this game, Ken Palm predicts Northwestern to get a 70-69 victory in this game. When you look at the net rankings, Indiana's 17th. They are 5-6 in quad 1, 3-1 in quad 2, 3-0 in quad 3, and 7-0 in quad 4. Both these teams are 18-7, 9-5 in conference play. Northwestern's down here at 43, 6-4 in quad 1, 2-3 in quad 2, 2-0 in quad 3, and 8-0 in quad 4. But this is going to be a great matchup. When you look at it, actually on the FanDuel Sportsbook, Indiana is a 2.5-point favorite. How about that? That's shocking. But this is a great opportunity for Northwestern to get a quad 1 win at home, great environment, And if I'm picking it based on that line, I think Northwestern's a better team than when they played Indiana the first time. I'm sure Indiana is too, because Indiana was kind of going through it early in Big Ten play. But Matthew Nicholson was still getting his sea legs under him as a starter in this league. He just went toe-to-toe with Zach Edey on Sunday. And while, Zach Edey is Zach Edey, and he's going to get his numbers, I thought Nicholson showed great fight. Brooks Barnheiser is becoming an invaluable part of this roster. Ty Berry, it's been a little up and down, but he's still there. You found Nick Martinelli. He's been big. Titus Verhoeven's gotten better. And then Boo Buie has gone to a different level. I know he went for 26 in the first matchup. Chase Audige has been a little hot and cold, but he still gets you 15, 16 points a game. And if he gets hot, if Ty Berry gets hot, and everything clicks for this Northwestern team, they're a tough out. And that's why if you're asking me to pick this game, I'm taking Northwestern plus 2.5. I think Northwestern wins. I think the over hits. Over 134.5. I think the over hits in this game. But I firmly believe that this is a game that Northwestern wins. And I think that this all but seals the NCAA tournament. You're on the precipice, I feel like, right now. But I think you get this win. You get to 10-5 in conference play. I think you put a little bit of pressure on Purdue to keep winning. Not that I expect Purdue to lose much, but they do have to go on the road to Maryland tomorrow. Then they get Ohio State, Indiana, and the next two after that. And they finish the season against Illinois. A lot of those are at home. They're on the road at Wisconsin in between there. But put a little pressure on them. Why not? I mean, if you're Northwestern, have the mentality like everybody's doubting you, but why not us? And I think that's what the mentality is going to be. That's going to do it for today's episode. We'll be back tomorrow to talk about this game, whatever happens tonight. It's really exciting. I'm looking forward to it. Can't wait to watch this matchup and see if Northwestern continues to prove the doubters wrong and continues to win games. Thank you for making Locked On Northwestern your first listen every single day. We're available wherever you get podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever. We're also on YouTube. Just search Locked On Northwestern. You can find us there. Wherever you're listening, make sure you're subscribed and you turn on notifications. You don't want to miss an episode. I'm your host, Carter Bird. You can follow me on social media at CarterBird13. And I'll see you all next time.